Week of AAC Modeling with core words. This week we're going to target the word turn. But before we start, I'm going to talk about what core words are and why we model them for our kids. What are core words? Core words are 50 to 400 words that make up the majority of everything we say. Studies across different languages and age groups have found that 50 words account for 40 to 50% of our daily communication. A small amount of words can be used for a large variety of situations. Why do we model core words? There have been a number of studies about how languages learn for children who cannot communicate verbally and learn an alternative and augmentative form of communication. And aided language stimulation is the way that we model language using AAC. So, what is aided language stimulation? Aided language stimulation is a communication strategy where a communication partner teaches symbol meaning and models language by combining their own verbal input with selection of vocabulary on the AAC system. This is done simultaneously selecting vocabulary on the AAC system and speaking. So, for the agenda this week, we are going to focus on the core word turn. So we're going to look at some icons that mean turn. We're going to read a book called Taking Turns. We're going to talk about other ideas to target turn at home, and then we're going to review and wrap up. So before we start, we can see a few examples of the core word turn, depending on the type of pictures that are being used. As you can see, these pictures are very different, but they mean the same thing, turn. So now we're going to read a book called Taking Turns. So now we're going to read our book called Taking Turns. But first, we're going to find the core word turn. So I'm going to show you 2 times where the core word turn will be. So if you look at actions and then turn. Once again, it's in the folder of actions, turn, and then turn. So our book today is called Taking Turns. You take turns in the kitchen. You take turns on the playground. You take turns on the street. You take turns in the classroom. You take turns at home. You take turns on the field. Taking turns can be tiring. That is why it is good to just take a break. Now we are all done with our book. So now we have read our book with the models, and then we're going to talk about how we can use turn in different ways at home. So for example, playing. You can ask and give turns, so you can say my turn, your turn, do you want to turn? So using turn while taking turns during play. And then another one is reading a book. So you can talk about turning the page. So every time you're done reading the page, you can prompt the child to, okay, what do we do next? And then we can model, we turn the page. And then the last one is turning things on and off. So we can turn on the music, we can turn off the music, we can turn on the television, we can turn off the television. If something is too loud, we can turn it down, or if something's too quiet, we can turn it up. So to wrap up, we talked about what core words are and why do we use them and how we model them. Then we read a short book using the modeling approach of aided language stimulation to target the core word turn. And then we talked about a few examples of how we can use the core word turn at home. So remember, language should be used all day and every day consistently. Thank you, and see you next week.